I don't think I pressed record. Did I? I did. I pressed the record. I did push it. I did. I did. And we are going to start the next video. It's been quite a while since I made the last one. Let's get going. Annyeoung everybody and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. It's been quite a while since the last time I left off, like about a week maybe it's been. But right now we're gonna get back into this. We're gonna read and like just pumped up music right now. We just see this girl eating with her feet. I mean, how else are you gonna eat? She ain't got no fucking arms. But let's find out the story behind this girl here. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly at the end. She is talented. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. No, you're not. Well, I don't remember what the hell happened last episode, so... The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes. Big ol' eyes. Look at those. Like a rabbit in headlights. That's a weird analogy. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. Is that the only thing she says? I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. Y'all both better close your mouths. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned in silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the fork full in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I don't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrow as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? Question is, who are you, strange girl? Strange redhead girl? I think I just realized there that the color of the text for the character name is the same as their hair. The more you know. This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. Monday, how long has it been? Like 3 days? So it's like Wednesday right now? I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. Ruka Zentuka. Tezuk Rin Ka. Tezuka Rin. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kinda bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Just finish eating. Yes, you can. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you'd after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. Just call it a snack. A big snack. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious box lunch will go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. She is extremely talented. Oh, there she is. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, to the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? My mic's about to fall again. Why does it keep doing this? Stop it. Stay. Right there. Right there. Shh. Stay right there. Okay. Is the problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and that's delicious. The problem must be in my pants. What? This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. What do you mean there's something wrong with something in my pants? I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right, there is something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? There's nothing wrong with my tackle. Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out my next waterfall. I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. Jesus Christ. Nothing. Nothing. No junk. No problem with the junk in the front. All right. I said it. More like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. I'm sure you would have wanted that, wouldn't you? What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people and a person... Wait, what? I forgive you. What? I forgive you. Just, I collect people and a person with, you know, that kind of What do you mean you collect people? That kind of problem would have been really great. Yeah, collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just, like, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. You mind if I ask you what's wrong with you? Maybe not. With little left to say, Rin presumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone... Why does the music keep wanting to stop? It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from somewhere else. Or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Miss Sao. I have a very serious heart condition. I might die if I get too excited. Hi. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms makes her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows makes it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat out alone and this late? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Ah. And that's all I could think of to say. I'm as boring as one of the books in the library. Sorry, Hisao. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my hole and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. How did you know? I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezubiga. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship at this point is good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. You're awesome. I actually like you. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when somebody stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. She's smirking at me. She wants to see the problem I have in my front junk. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. Wow. What a person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. I heard that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Scared the fuck out of me. Misha, where the fuck did you come from? What did she hear? What did she hear? I don't know what she heard. I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside, as I should. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry. I got the things here. We're just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signed something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Ooh, where you going? Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. I burped. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning the sign furiously at Misha. Oh my god. She is angry. Maybe she didn't blow up, but I can understand it. But I can't. I don't know what I said. She shoots a very low to stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Look, there's nothing wrong with my junk, okay? Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. Right, she can't open the door. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interest, half-sleepy face. Hi. Hello. ... Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such, disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune and Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulders, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. ... Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. ... Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. ... And? Well, think about it harder. As Misha signs a reply to Shizune, her face turns an unsatisfied frown. ... Listen here, triangle mouth. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Oh, despicable. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after retreating after the words. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I wish I could talk to you more, but I have only one girl in mind. And I can't leave her. I'm about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art room. I'm sure she's talking about Shizune. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting on and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman that I am, I naturally pick it up. Pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need me to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Oh, wait, what? And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quite empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, the trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Except for the nurse, who, well, it would match Hanako's color, so I guess they just made it white because of his lab coat. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Suzuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back. Then turns to me because obviously it's me who has some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been yet long on your current medication, there might be some unexpected side effects which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. Come see me if anything happens. Okie dokes. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors, and at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool. So I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but this his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off at the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here. So don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though I was weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? Oh my god. What's happening? The nurse grabs me by my shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, motherfucker, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious from now on? Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Maybe. Yes, of course. Yes, I'm trying to think. If I choose yes, like I'm trying to go, I'm like in this playthrough, I'm gonna go for Hanako. Hanako is not the exercising type, or the outdoorsy type, or anything with social interaction. So if I choose yes, am I gonna have to take the options of going outside or exercising instead of the option of going with Hanako and doing those kind of things? And I don't know. What do I choose? What do I do? What do I do? Is there even consequences in me choosing yes? Oh, no, that's not it. Save. New save. Yes. And we're gonna go with yes. Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart, Mnyingi? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird. I don't know why it's so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're from my heart. Will they make you better? No. No. Fuck no. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital, it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. And we're outside. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. So you went to sleep. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base services whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm or whatever of it there actually is to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's... Wait, what? It makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. Blah blah blah, so that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. That's a process. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of a statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this? Yes. And yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without, hands? See? I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. I'm yawning. Excuse me. What time is it? Late, of course. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat. Where there should be some. I know a few girls who go, okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name artists or artistic term. Yo, she was about to go off on somebody. She was about to oh my god, she thought I roast somebody. Oh my god, who's she talking about? I don't even want to know. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it to myself what I think she's talking about. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Are those like those big ass light lamp thingy? Whatever. Fuck it, I don't know. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You could do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Hard thing has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. And the music stops. I hate it. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Dot dot dot. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Oh god, this is a bright screen right here. Add half a splash of green. Oop, I just hit my mic. I crouched down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. How much is a splash? No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. What the fuck? What is a splash? Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dreams but can't remember it. What? I know that color very well. Maybe it's yellow. I think that's just the sun. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Time passes and it's getting dark. Seeing a painting being born on the placid wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints, crouching down on the paving, and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head, like everything else in this world that I live in. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us say a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breathe and sound. Yes, oh, it's getting darker. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. And it gets darker. What now? Oh, whoa, what happened? Is that the day? Oh, we did it! We did it. The day's done. We slept right outside. We didn't go inside. We just slept right here. Is that what happened? Are we back in our? Yep, we're back in our room. Wow, what a day! What a day! What a day! Wow, we did a lot. We talked to Rin. She is apparently very skilled with her feet. I wonder what else she can do. No, I do not. No. I'm only curious in Hanako. Apparently I have problems in my pants. I wonder what kind of problems she is referring to. Alright, we're done here. Alright, I'll talk to you guys another time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, whatever the flipper flabber you want to do. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Annyeong!